Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaste. Today, the unsung hero of the day is Vanchinathan. But Vanchinathan's introduction and his life history will not be complete if we don't talk about other connected revolutionaries. There are 4 other freedom fighters connected very closely to Vanchinathan's life, and coincidentally, even their names start with the letter V. So even though it is a tribute to Vanchinathan, it is more like connecting the V's. So imagine what I'm going to say now. There is a small railway station and a small boy with his grandfather, he enters into the station and then they get seated somewhere and they are waiting for the train to come. So this small boy, he happens to read the station name, which read as Vanchi Maniachi Junction. This boy wonders what Maniachi Junction is the name of the station. What is Vanchi? Immediately he asks his grandpa, what is Vanchi, grandpa? He says there was a great revolutionary named Vanchinathan, and Vanchi is the shorter name of his, the name Vanchinathan, and that is why the name is Vanchi Maniachi Junction. Then he asked, then why is his name connected to the station name? The grandpa is very busy with his newspaper. Then he says, that is a very, very big story, Putta. I will tell you one more day, some other day, not today. And then he continues to read the newspaper, but the boy is very adamant. He says, we still have 1 more hour for the train to come, and I want you to narrate the story of Vanchinathan. The grandpa, he started narrating the story, and I am going to narrate the same story to you right now. And just one request to all of you is, please stay with me for 15 minutes. Is it okay? Is it fine? Okay. So generally, people like you and me, we are born with flesh and blood. That is how God has created. But once in a while, the God creates dormant volcanoes and sends them down. One such walking dormant volcano was our hero, Vanchinathan. Vanchinathan was born in the year 1886 in an Orthodox Brahmin family in Sengote. Sengote is in Tamil Nadu, very close to Kerala. As a child, Vanchinathan was a very timid, shy, and unassuming child. He finished his BA in Thiruvananthapuram, and he also finished his master's MA in Baroda University. And even as a child, when he was studying, he married a beautiful girl named Ponnamma, and together they had a daughter. And he also took up a job as a clerk in Travancore State Forest Department. Life went peacefully, but let me tell you, if the life had gone so peacefully for Vanchinathan, you and I would be discussing or talking about Vanchinathan today. Somehow he happens to hear about V.O. Chidambaram Pillai in Tuticorin and all his revolutionary activities. He is intrigued and interested by that. V.O. Chidambaram Pillai. He was a disciple and ardent follower of Bal Gangadhar Tilak. In short, if I have to say, he acted as an echo of Tilak. If Tilak organized Swadeshi movement there, he would stage the same thing here in Tuticorin and Tirunelveli. And whatever protests, whatever dharna happened in north and west, Chidambaram Pillai would orchestrate the same thing here also in the south. So Chidambaram Pillai, profession as a lawyer, just like his father, but there is a difference. The father represented rich and officials and he earned a lot of money. Whereas Chidambaram Pillai, he always represented the poor people, oppressed, fought for the oppressed, and he earned many hearts. He won many hearts. So he had a huge fan following near Tirunelveli and Tuticorin districts. Vanchinathan was impressed by V.O. Chidambaram Pillai because of mainly 2 incidents, real incidents that happened. One was Coral Mill strike. When the Coral Mill strike happened, the workers did not have anything to eat, and Chidambaram Pillai, he did not even think twice. He sold most of his assets and he fed 500 to 1,000 mouths every day. Believe me, my dear friends, it's not a joke. Not 1 or 2 days until the strike continued, they were fed because of Chidambaram Pillai. And the second incident, obviously, was establishment of this shipping company. So Swadeshi Shipping Company, It was a daunting venture that nobody even could have even imagined, even in their dreams, and that too against British Empire. But Chidambaram Pillai, he made it happen. So the mass following for Chidambaram Pillai and the shipping company, those two reasons were enough to cause sleeping nights for the British officials. They didn't know what to do. He was so popular of his times. And then on top of it, Chidambaram Pillai, along with his partner Subramaniam Shiva, wherever they went, they gave revolutionary, inspiring talk, encouraging people to fight against the British rule. So they were waiting for an opportunity to just put down Chidambaram Pillai, and that opportunity showed itself in the year 1908. So in 1908, Chidambaram Pillai, he wanted to have a big rally to celebrate the release of Bipin Chandra Pal. But then the British officials, they ordered not to have any such big rallies, but then they refused. And immediately arrest warrants were issued for both Chidambaram Pillai as well as Subramaniam Shiva. They were dragged on sedition charges. They were dragged to the court and then they were sentenced. Subramaniam Shiva, he received 10 years prison, and Chidambaram Pillai, you will not believe, he received 2 life terms totaling to 40 years. And hell broke loose near the Tirunelveli and Tuticorin. So much of protest, so much of agitations, and the heartless, ruthless, the then District Collector General Ash, he ordered shoot at sight. Because of that, hundreds of civilians, they were injured, and more than 4 or 5 people, they died because of lathi charges. Vanchinathan, he was a witness to all these happenings, and he developed a revengeful mentality. The dormant volcano inside Vanchinathan, it was becoming active, ready to erupt anytime. Now, all these incidents, it also led to a formation of a secret organization named Bharat Mata Association under the leadership of Neelakanta Brahmachari. Vanchinathan and his brother-in-law Shankar and Shankaran Iyer, they both were the key members of the organization, along with other young revolutionaries. The objective of this organization was to assassinate these brutal, heartless officials here and send a message to the British officials in England. They wanted to intimidate them, give a message, and discourage them from coming to India. So first things first, they decided to take revenge for what happened to Chidambaram Pillai. So they said, we will assassinate and remove General Ash. That was the oath taken by the organization. So this is one side of the story. Let us quickly move to what happened in London. We all know that the firebrand revolutionary student Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, he went to London for further studies, and he got accommodated in India House, where he continued his revolutionary work under the secret organization Abhinav Bharata. Savarkar was born in the year 1883. 2 years prior to that, there was one more revolutionary who was born in Trichy, Tamil Nadu. Again, he was also born in a very orthodox family. After completing his graduation in legal studies, he started practicing as a pleader for 4 or 5 years in Trichy. And he was married, he had children, he was leading a very peaceful life. Believe me, there was no revolutionary thought or fighting against the freedom whatsoever in his mind. He was none other than Varahaneri Venkatesa Subramanya Iyer. In short, he went by the name VVS Iyer. So VVS Iyer, the turning point in his life came when one of his brother-in-laws who was settled in Rangoon, he was running a textile industry. He invited VVS Iyer to come to Rangoon to enhance his legal career. VVS Iyer went. He joined as an apprentice to one of the British barrister, but it lasted for only 6 months because VVS Iyer, he decided that he will study law and he himself would become a barrister. So he was on the way to London. He sailed to London. He gets an accommodation in Lincoln's Inn. But when he was looking for a proper place, proper mess for vegetarian food, That is when he found India House. And then that was his first visit to India House. That was his first visit with meeting with Veer Savarkar. Somehow the first meeting itself between the two men, it was a remarkable one, and it left a lasting impression on both the men. And as a result, VVS Iyer, he vacated Lincoln's Inn and he moved into India House. And he started working with Veer Savarkar in Abhinav Bharata, training many young students and converting them into revolutionaries. He became the vice president of Abhinav Bharata and a right-hand man for Veer Savarkar. Everything was about to change. In the year 1909, one of the revolutionaries, Madan Lal Dhingra, after he assassinated Curzon Wily. After that, very soon he was assassinated. This was a very significant incident in the history because it changed the fate of India House as well as Savarkar and VVS Iyer. The India House had to be temporarily closed, and arrest warrants were issued for both Savarkar as well as VVS Iyer. Unfortunately, Savarkar got arrested, but VVS Iyer, he made a daring escape. Even after that, in the disguise of a Punjabi Sikh, he went and visited Savarkar in the jail even 2 times. At that time, something interesting that Savarkar noticed was how he had the recollection of how VVS Iyer came for the first time looking in with the coat and suit in the impeccable European wear with the hair parted in the middle. He was like an Englishman. But today, with a beard, till the chest, he was looking like a Maharshi. What a transformation in this man, he remarked. He wondered. So after that, VVS Iyer, he escaped to Paris, and somehow he deliberately took a long route to come back to India. Sometimes in the disguise of a Punjabi Sikh, sometimes as a Parsi gentleman, sometimes as a fakir, from Paris to Amsterdam, Amsterdam to Turkey, Turkey to Colombo, Colombo to Kadalur, and then finally he lands up in Pondicherry. Now all of you might be wondering, why Pondicherry? Because at that time Pondicherry was still under the rule of French hold. So all the revolutionaries across the country, if they wanted to escape from the British Empire, they would come to Pondicherry because it offered a safe abode and a safe asylum for all the revolutionaries. Happiness of VVS Iyer after coming to Pondicherry doubled because he met 2 great revolutionaries there who had already settled. One was Subramanya Bharati and the other one was Aurobindo Ghosh. All 3 of them, they would spend hours together talking about how to release Bharat Mata from the clutches of the British Empire. VVS Iyer was not quiet. Again, he revived Abhinav Bharata. He distributed pamphlets, and somehow he gathered a lot of youngsters and transformed them into revolutionaries who can fight for the freedom struggle. So when this was continuing, one of the students happened to be our hero, Vanchinathan. When in Bharat Mata Association, when they decided to do away with General Ash, Vanchinathan, he takes 3 months leave from his work. He comes to Pondicherry. He meets VVS Iyer. He confesses his intention to assassinate General Ash. He takes proper training on how to use gun, especially at close quarters. So everything was set. A foolproof plan was made. The stage was set. The date was decided. The plan has to go. They decided the date to be June 11th, 1911, to coincide with the coronation ceremony of George V in England. But for some reason, the first time the plan could not be executed, then again they shifted to June 17th, 1911. That was the day when General Ash, he boarded the train in Tirunelveli along with his wife Priscilla. They were going to Kodaikanal to meet their children. They had to change the train in between. Exactly sharp at 9:30, the train pulls into Maniachi Junction. 2 young men clad in dhoti, they board the first class compartment. The first young man, he waits outside the compartment to ensure that nobody even comes near the compartment. And the second young man, he goes into the compartment. He faces General Ash face to face. General Ash was startled. he asked, "Who's this? What are you doing here?" And those were the last words spoken by General Ash. So the young man, he pulls out the gun from the dhoti, point blank, he shoots him, and both of them, they try to escape. The gunshot was loud enough to awaken the cops there. And then they start chasing the man. The first young man, he runs away far into the faraway fields, nowhere to be seen. And then they try to nab the second man, who again, he escapes, and then he somehow manages to get into the station toilet. Inside the toilet, he utters the name of Bharat Mata, and then Vande Mataram, and he shoots himself. That's it. The cops, they come there, they break open the door, and then they find the young man lying. It was too late. So they examine the gun. They see that there were no more bullets left. So it was very evident, very clear that the young man did not have any intention to kill anybody other than assassinate General Ash and to kill himself. They also find a letter in his pocket. They take it out, and then the letter was very long. Summary of the letter is this. He says, "My life is the small sacrifice that I want to make to Bharat Mata. And this is the sacred land ruled by Rama, Krishna, Guru Gobind Singh, and Shivaji Maharaj, who strived so hard for the upkeep of dharma and to preserve our culture. And today we are thinking about bringing George V. What kind, and 3,000 Madrasis are waiting to kill George V as soon as he sets his foot on the sacred land. This is the fate that is going to happen to anybody who tried to enslave my sacred motherland, Bharat Mata. And I am Vanchinathan, and I am the reason for the assassination. Nobody else for the assassination of for the assassination of General Ash." So this was the letter found in the pocket. And the grandpa, he ends the story by telling that man, the young man who killed himself, Vanchinathan, he was hardly 25 years old when he sacrificed his life. And that is when he notices that not just his grandson who's sitting there, there were 10 or 15 people they had already gathered around to listen to the story of Vanchinathan. So, and then the grandson, he looks around and then he asks the question, "Ajja, please tell me, is it the same station where all these things happened?" The grandpa says, "Yes, it is the same station when all these things happened. And that is why the station name is Vanchi Maniachi Junction." Now, for the grandson, it makes complete sense why Vanchi is attached to Maniachi Junction. Then he goes on to ask about other revolutionaries. Then that is when the grandpa says, Veer Savarkar, he was taken to Andaman jail, where it was a physical torture for him, and he was put in jail for almost 26 years. He was in jail. Imagine, not 1 or 2 years, 26 years, because he was released completely, unconditionally, only in the year 1937. And VVS Iyer had such a, torturous, challenging life. But in the end, when he was on an excursion with his daughter, the daughter fell in the waterfall, and he also had to jump in to save her. And both of them, they instantly drowned. The waterfall became a water grave for both of them. And at that time, VVS Iyer was only 44. His life ended abruptly. And Chidambaram Pillai, after repeated appeals sent by Subramanya Bharati, VVS Iyer, and other revolutionaries, it forced the British to release Chidambaram Pillai within 4.5 to 5 years. So then he gets released and he comes out. And that is when he realizes, when he was arrested, there were hundreds of people who protested, agitated, and cried against him going to the jail. But now there was not even one soul waiting to receive Chidambaram Pillai. He was born rich, he lived rich, but when he got released, and right now at that moment, he was the poorest of the poor. His license to practice law was confiscated. He was driven away from his own homeland, and he had to go somewhere else. And that pained him a little bit. He was a pauper who had to borrow money during his last years. And even Vanchinathan, he sacrificed his life to stop George V from coming to motherland. But believe me or not, the shameful Delhi Darbar happened in the the same year in the month of December. So George V and his wife, they came to Delhi, and it was not an affair of one day or two. From December 6th to December 13th, there was a huge extravagant ceremony when people in India, when they were dying for food, they had an extravagant ceremony where they declared themselves as king and queen of this nation. How shameful, how disgraceful. And even more shameful was the fact that more than 1 lakh Indians, they became witness. They watched this event. Then the question comes as to, is there any value for the life of Vanchinathan, who sacrificed, who wanted to stop everything? Nothing. At this time, when the grandpa was in deep thought, the train pulled into the station, and all of them who had gathered there, they rushed to catch the train. They were fighting to see who has to enter the train first. And in this commotion, a very old lady, she gets pushed and she falls down. Immediately the grandpa, he helps her board the train. That is when he thinks, wow, is this the independent India for which all those revolutionaries, all those freedom fighters, they gave up their life? Is this for this country, for this independent country? And it really pained him, and he started crying. And the grandson who was watching the grandpa, he says, Ajja, now hogbekalva. That is when the grandpa says, yes, haudu, now hogbeku. And then they slowly board the train. My dear friends, after listening to this story, my only message that I want to give is, Sumne Atmanirbhar Bharat anta sumne helodilla. We have a lot of responsibilities as a citizen of this democratic country. If you see the speech topics that we have chosen, they are not just randomly picked topics. Those are the topics that should make you think. We need to see what is our role in making India self-reliant. What should we do to make India a Vishwa Guru? And more than that, as individuals, we should have dreams. But to have dreams for our own self, we could be called as self-centered people. Each one of us, we need to dream for India. Nanna kanasina Bharata anta obbobbrigu irbeku anta